we're in this territory, the four exertions, the four endeavors, they're very much connected with right effort. Yeah, with effort, the right amount of effort, the kinds of effort that we want to bring to our practice. And they're really the four, someone asked last week, are they endeavors or are they exertions or efforts? What are they? They're really the four foundational exercises in training the heart and the mind, as we begin to set up the foundation for our meditation practice. Yeah, they're foundational exercises, ones that seem almost too simple, except they're not simple. They sound simple, but they're not easy to manifest, to embody. And so they're practices. We consider all of these orientations. I like to think of them as the four right or skillful orientations in setting up our foundation for meditation practice, because that takes away the strain and this, the effort, exertion. They have that sense of, oh, this is going to be work, as opposed to, oh, this is the direction in which we want to move. Yeah, has a different feel to it, doesn't it? Oh, this is the orientation. This is how we would like to begin to align. So language is important, for us, very important. We have so many of our own associations to effort, exertion. Yeah, yeah. So the language that works for you. These are some of the words that work for us. We like endeavor a little bit. It's a sense, it captures the sense of moving toward, rather than trying hard. So. And we're in this. It's the sticky wicket of working with challenging or difficult emotions. It's one of the hardest parts of this practice. How do we relate to those? How do we relate to those already? We already have habits in the ways that we relate to our difficult emotions that we need to begin to recognize, to look at more closely, and to see, are they effective? How have we been doing with those particular ways of relating to our negative emotions so far? Yeah, we'd rather not look at them at all. And the Buddha is really quite clear about this. We must get really familiar with them and with the ways we're participating in them, sometimes unwittingly, before we can begin to see how to release them in some new ways. How we can begin to become free of them. We can't become free of them by just turning away from them, and hoping that they will, if I meditate hard enough over here, maybe someday they will just go away. I smile now when I say that, but that was an underpinning of my belief system for at least 20 years in this practice. If I work hard enough with mindfulness, with real sincerity here, some of these parts of myself I don't like, some of these difficult emotions, they just won't show up anymore. Yeah. I'm sorry to report that particular wish has not come true for me. Yeah. So you can see how that is for you. And so there's a tendency both to be overly avoidant at times of difficult emotions. There are other times when we tend to be overly heroic, what we call overly heroic. Okay, all right, this is what mindfulness really is, working with the difficult. Bring it on, I can do this now, bring it on. And so when there's something difficult arises, there's a tendency to get caught up in it, though. This is one of our habits. To get caught up in it and overly thrashing around in it, trying to sort out, why is it here? What's going on? But we're still not really taking a closer look in a caring way about what it is. We've never really wanted to turn toward difficult emotions in a caring, holding kind of way. That's one of the moves we've tended not to try. Yeah, yeah. And yet it's one of the moves that is most important here in the practice. Yeah. It's about trying something different, not the same thing we've already tried for most of our lives. First, we have to see what we're doing. And the first step, of course, is we're cultivating the holding environment. Yeah. And part of it is not to invite the difficult emotions. This is one of the four exertions, this is one of the four orientations. When challenging mind states are not around, don't invite them. Sounds simple, right? Yeah. Don't invite them. Don't invite them. We're cultivating a safe, comfortable space here at first. This is not avoidance when we're cultivating the holding environment. We're cultivating something proactively, a holding space, a holding space. Now, part of the function of that holding space will be, at some point, to be able to welcome more substantively our challenging emotions. Oh, okay, you're knocking at the door. Oh, maybe I can welcome you in now. But that's only when the holding environment is really soft and sweet and warm, where there's really a sense of care there and steadiness there in our holding environment. And most of us are not there most of the time. And so the very first step after that, in working with the difficult, and Susan really laid this out beautifully last week, is to simply name it, notice it and name it. Oh, yeah, I see you knocking at the door. I see you there. Yeah, that's anxiety. That's worry. That's planning. That's regret. Yeah, that's restlessness. That's doubt. Yeah. Oh, I see you. I see you there. And to allow that to be enough, to note, I acknowledge this is here in the landscape. I acknowledge it's here, as if that's enough. And now just come back to the holding environment, which you're cultivating. Now, even this is difficult. Sometimes we take a little peek at that negative thing, and it starts to gather momentum. And somehow we get pulled into the negative space, And isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Pulled into the negative space. And now, how do I work with this? How is it again? And suddenly we're thrashing around in a negative space. You see? And so one of the first, and it's a self-care move, by the way, is to notice and name this on the periphery, just briefly, and then to come back. The next step is to take a little bit more than just a peek and to feel into it for just a moment. Just a moment. Like for one full breath, feel it. Restlessness feels like this. Doubt feels like this. Boredom feels like this. Oh, right. Just one breath. And then return to the holding environment. This is so hard to do. It's so simple to say and so hard to do. I feel it for a moment. I can't come back. It's like a sticky. It's like flypaper. Like it just that's pulling me out. Who's pulling it out? There's only you in here. You see, this is one of our habits. It's hard for us to simply go, I'm feeling you for a moment, but now I'm going to come back. And reset. Just that's it. Just one moment. Because we're not ready to lay out the 7-course meal with oh, come on, right in, come in. You want to come in? Come in. Now, at some point, we want to do that. That's called advanced practice. First, can we just give ourselves permission to touch into it? As Susan was saying last week, to name it. That's one step. That's enough. Now, okay, I'm ready to just feel it for one full cycle of breath. And it doesn't feel good. Yeah? None of those feel good. But we know what it's like to be with something difficult for a moment. It's not easy, though. We're not wired to do that. We're not wired to do that. Let's do that for just a moment. And then come back. Okay? That's as far as we go today. Okay? Yeah. So we're cultivating the holding environment. First step, don't invite it. I love the quote by Hafiz. He says, we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, you have all the ingredients within yourself to create of your experience a living hell. Don't mix them. Yeah? At first, just don't mix them. Don't invite them. But if it's coming in, you go, I see you, I see you, I see you. If it keeps coming in, open for one moment. I feel you. Come back.